We're live. Take this banner down. We're live. We're live. Bring mom's picture up. Where's mom? There's mom. And change the. All right. Pile in, everybody. Pile in. Hi, Lucas. All right. Let's call mom. Dialing.
Hello.
Hi, mom.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you, and everybody else can hear you.
Okay.
And Brandon.
That's good.
And Brandon has joined us already. He figured it out.
Great.
And Lucas is
Welcome.
here too.
Come on in, folks.
Hello, hello, hello.
What's the temperature in California?
Let me check. Let's see. I'm wearing shorts. Let's see. Temperature. Well, let's see. I have it on my phone. In where I am, it's a chilly 66 degrees.
Can you get me a flight out?
Yeah, I'm sitting here uncomfortable.
It's pretty brutal. However, it's Minnesota winter.
It is. Oh,
anyway.
Nazareth says hi. Hi, Nazareth, baby Nazareth. And all right. Before we launch into your story, I'm going to update.
Oh, good. Okay.
Sorry, just reading some notes. But before that, how are you in general? How's life?
Well, life is good. It got brutal overnight, but I'm safe. I'm warm. I know enough not to go out in it.
Yeah.
My mind is sound.
All right, good.
I just feel sorry for all the people who have to go to work and all that stuff. Wow.
Yeah. You feel sorry for people who have to leave their homes.
Well, yeah. Well, to be out on the highway and this stuff is very, very dangerous here in Minnesota. Very dangerous.
Yeah.
You have to have plan B, C, D, and E if you're going to go drive in this stuff. I'm telling you.
I remember living in snow and driving in snow for the first time and losing traction and having that sudden sense of kind of terror when it's similar to like an earthquake. When an earthquake happens, you have no control over anything. Your whole world is unstable all of a sudden, like it's never been, and it's the sensation.
Exactly.
That's when driving a car and suddenly, whether it's hydroplaning in water or in particular on a snowy road without chains, you're at the mercy. You're at the mercy of the elements.
Well, people freeze to death here if your car breaks down in this, what we've got today.
That's right.
You can freeze to death. It's terrible. Anyway, that's another story.
Yeah. Well, we're suffering in the 66 degrees.
Well, I'm happy for you.
We'll be outside tonight in our backyard having my downstairs neighbors have a pre-Thanksgiving.
Oh, how nice.
Meal with friends and neighbors. So we'll be maybe it'll be 60 65 degrees at that point. I don't know. Sorry.
Well, that's wonderful.
Sorry to rub it in.
Like that.
You're in Minnesota. Oh, speaking of Minnesota, are you tracking what's going on with the investigation into fraud in the COVID fraud?
No, I'm not tracking any of that anymore.
All right. Well, so
not really.
When I came to visit you during your surgery, that duration of my stay back in September, when I got home and I was just checking up on the news, an investigation had launched while I was, or right before I got there, and then it wrapped up right after I left. So
Oh,
I was in Minnesota for the duration of this investigation. The Department of Justice investigating Ilhan Omar's some corruption there of
oh,
funnel
I saw some headlines, but I didn't get into it. Yeah. Go ahead.
funneling government funds
Yep.
back home or wherever, and now potentially to a terrorist organization,
Right.
that our tax dollars that were meant to feed children during the COVID ended up in the pockets of people that have waged war against the United States. That's what it looks like is happening. That uh, and it's very, very significant. It may not get all the big headlines that everybody else, some of the other more salacious news stories get, but this is a huge shift. Our government is about to weed out some terrorism that has been deeply entrenched and transform. It'll all, it'll be a part of the reformation, if you will, of our immigration system. Anyway, and you're in the
Well,
heart of it.
Minnesota government's pretty corrupt.
Yeah,
She's still there. They do
it's
nothing.
yeah,
They do nothing.
Tim Walz, Ilhan Omar. So
Yeah.
this administration in its first year,
I'm sure he got a chunk.
yeah, yeah, and anyway, so you're in ground zero of some important stuff happening, Mom. Minnesota. All right. Now I don't want to eat up all this time with my updating because I want to get to your story. But here's the update. So I had this meeting with this guy yesterday, this Zoom call, and he was going to introduce me to somebody. And I thought that person was going to be in the meeting, but it was just he gave me the contact information and a link to this other person. And the guy I've met with before, and essentially he gave me the exactly will uh, what will sway him to be behind what I'm doing, 100%.
Okay.
Like all. So he gave me a name. He's like, if so and so's on board, and I won't give that name yet. I'm going to keep it. If so and so's on board, I'm on board. It's one of those kind of meetings, and um, it's it's a public figure, a very, very uh, well-known public figure, and a public figure who is has demonstrated sympathies for Armenia, a concern for the Christian nation. He's I don't want to give too many hints because people will guess, but he said if
have you met him face to face yet or no?
The guy that I was talking to,
yeah,
yesterday, yes, yeah, I met him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in person. So we've met about 4 or 5 times over the past year and a half.
And he's the one who has this contact for you.
Well, he has another contact, but good question. Good question. He has another contact. I'll tell you about that contact. The person he gave me the contact information for is not the person that he's talking about. This is a different.
Oh, okay.
These are 2 different people. He gave me I'll get to that in a sec. But the person, he said, if you can get so and so on board behind this, I'm all in. And hearing that is it's divide. I'm of a divided mind over it. It's the frustration. It's like, oh, another step that I have to take, but it's a guaranteed step, right? It's like, oh, and it's a guaranteed. He said if you can get so and so and so and so, he named 2 people, and the second so and so that he mentioned, I'm not interested in going after. But he was just the second person he was talking about wasn't. It was an example. It wasn't necessarily the person. So the first person was get this one person, and then the second person he mentioned was and get that type of person, basically an actor he was talking about. I'm like,
okay,
that's not happening. I'm not going after that actor for anything. I'm not. But the first person, when he said that, I'm like, it told me a bunch of information that I needed to know, that I didn't know ahead of time. and it's all positive. So first of all, getting to that person is possible and has been on my radar. It's somebody that I've been wanting to talk to anyway. It's like, oh, okay, that's somebody that's on my radar, and now I need to move that up in my schedule of things to do. Like, oh, now I need to plan the pitch or the outreach to that person starting now. But it also told me that the guy said, the guy, it was this is the question mark I had. This guy's a conservative. He's a conservative commentator. Like the guy he wants me to get to is a very famous there's another hint. Very, very prominent conservative person. And so the guy in the meeting that I was talking to, I knew he might, because when I have these meetings, I'm not talking politics, right or left, American politics at all. I'm talking about this story. And so that's not my litmus test of, but finding out that he is on that side is very encouraging. It's like, oh, okay. Then I it's another reason I believe God chose me to tell this story, is that it's the conservatives and the evangelicals that are going to champion this story in a way that it needs to be championed. So that's a lot of words to say that the meeting went well. It didn't result in money in the bank, but it resulted in potential money in the bank eventually. And then the person that he connected me to, that I'll follow up with in an email next week, is a person that used to work, or actually, I don't know if she still does, but worked at Fox News, a producer, and but the link he gave me, she's attached to it's not right to call it a hedge fund. A hedge fund is uh, where rich people put their money for investment and stuff. But this was a church fund with one of the Armenian apostolic churches. And so he was connecting me to a finance source with the Armenian church. I'm like, so it's like, oh, maybe this is about to be money in the bank. I don't know. I have to meet with this person and say the right words and put the right pitch together. And they may be inclined, because it's an Armenian church fund. But there's also always politics involved with that. There, I've updated enough. Yeah, if you have any questions, I'll answer them. But that's the real quick update from yesterday's call. More work to do, but hope is still firm.
Well, it's God's hand that's in all the details. To you and me, they're mind-boggling. But when God's hand is in it, all of these details, every single one, are extremely important. So
yeah,
don't get discouraged.
Right. It's like this is part and parcel of the process, right? It's
right.
If I were easily discouraged, boy, I would be doing something else for a living right now.
Yes, I understand that statement. So just, have peace in your heart. If God brought you to it, he'll take you through it. So
I like that. That's like a t-shirt, bumper sticker. God brought you to it, he'll take you through it. Ooh.
That's right.
Have you heard that before?
Going through it.
Where'd you hear that?
It's a quote. I've been using it for, I guess, my whole life. So I don't know who's the author of it in particular.
All right. So you're not claiming, you didn't coin it, but.
Well, I'd like to put my name on it, but I won't.
Well, when I use it, I'll say, this is my mom always used to say.
Yeah, you can do that.
All right. Now it's time for the handoff. What are these freckles, but not on your face? All right, Mom.
Well, I've already shared, some of you know, some of you don't, but I've already shared 2 stories about my brother Dave. And unfortunately, the 2 stories that I've shared paint him in a not so Christian light, I guess you'd say, because both of those stories, he was a bad boy. All right. So I thought, I've got to redeem my brother Dave.
You're talking about the Limburger cheese and then the donuts.
Yeah, the Limburger cheese and the golf course episode.
The donuts on the golf course, yes.
Trouble everywhere. But anyway, Dave had a good heart. But I got to thinking, gosh, I need to share this story about Dave because he really was a hero. He was a hero. And what happened in high school, he had a girlfriend. Her name was Sharon, and Sharon lived just several blocks from the neighborhood we lived in. They lived close and became boyfriend and girlfriend, and all the talk was they're going to get married when they graduate and all this kind of stuff. That's the kind of relationship they had, and Sharon was wonderful. They really were a good pair. Well, anyway, this story is involved toward the end of one of the school years. This isn't when they were about to graduate, but I don't know, they were 15, 16 by then. But at the end of our street where we lived, down at the end of that street, there was an old abandoned building that was a paper mill. And, paper mills, I guess, were pretty common back in those days. And we had one in Dansville, but it had been abandoned and breaking down and, old and decrepit, but it hadn't been completely destroyed. And at this paper mill, it was located right next to a good-sized stream of water. It wasn't a river, but it was, pretty good sized. They had one of those, what do you call that thing? It's like the paddle wheel to scoop up the water at the paper mill, and then the water would be dispersed inside the plant, and they could use the water for whatever they needed to use it for. Well, that paddle wheel was still standing out on a cement platform right by that stream. But at that platform, that cement platform, the way it was designed had created a 20 to 30 foot deep pool or pond of water that paddle wheel could scoop up. So it was deep. It was like 20 to 30 feet down there. Anyway, one day, Sharon and Dave, they went out and were doing their thing, and they ended up at the paper mill, wandering around, exploring. And they were walking on that cement platform, which was wet and slimy and over the years and slippery. And lo and behold, Sharon falls in, and she doesn't know how to swim.
Ooh.
She did not know how to swim. My brother Dave jumped in that water, and he saved Sharon's life that day. It was amazing. He pulled her out. They managed to get back. They went back to Sharon's house, was within walking distance, and the story was told to Sharon's mom.
Wait, rewind. Wait, was it?
Go ahead.
Were you with them?
No, I wasn't there.
So it was just the two of them? It
was just Dave and Sharon. Okay. They spent a lot of time together, and they wandered around to the paper mill that day. And that's what happened. So he rescued her out. They went back to her house, and her mom was there and shared the story. This is what happened. Thank God he was able to help her and get her out of there. Well, then Sharon's mom immediately called my mom, Dave and me, our mom, and the two mothers, got together. Everything was okay. She didn't need medical attention of any kind and all that sort of thing. But, well, that was a huge story in our town. And, it was in the paper, the local paper. Then my mom and Sharon's mom decided, this is pretty this is a big news story. We need to contact the news media in Rochester. Rochester, New York was 50 miles north of us, where all the big TV stations were. So they did. They contacted the news media in Rochester. They got a hold of the story. They came down and interviewed Dave and Sharon, took some pictures, got the details, and then they decided to, they set a date where Dave and my mom went to the news station in Rochester and they ran that story. They interviewed Dave and Mom was there, and it was broadcast over the airways and on TV. And what they ended up doing was they wanted to give Dave an award for what he had done for Sharon. He saved her life, so he deserved an award. Well, they had behind the scenes discussed this award with our mother, and she told the news media that Dave has always wanted a puppy. My dad was a hunter, and he had 2 beagle dogs, but they weren't in the house, family dogs. They had their dog house out in the backyard and all that, and they were strictly used for hunting. So we had never had just a family pet. So when the news media found this out, they got permission from Mom to give Dave a puppy. And on that show that they broadcast, they brought out a little Cocker Spaniel puppy. It was sort of cream colored. Its body was cream colored, but then it had these rust kind of colored big blotches and spots on it, and it was so cute. And when Dave saw that and they handed that puppy to him, I mean, he was in tears. He was so happy. So then the discussion was, now we've got to pick a name. They didn't do it on the air, but Dave got his puppy, and they brought the puppy home, and we all sat around. Well, we got to pick a name for the puppy, Dave.
And he's, how old is he at this time? Is this high school? Do you know how old he was?
Dave, yeah, they were 14, 15, 16. They hadn't graduated yet.
Wow.
So anyway, they bring the puppy home, and it was Dave's choice. What do you want to call it? It was a little female Cocker Spaniel, so darn cute. And he thought about it a little bit, and all of a sudden, let's call her Freckles, because of the spots that were all over her. I have pictures hidden away somewhere. I don't think you've ever seen them, but she was the cutest little puppy. And when they brought her home, from that interview at the news station, Dave had the puppy. We all ran upstairs because in the bedroom was a big old king-size bed that we all slept in our bedroom for a while. And we put the puppy on the bed, and the puppy was so excited, all these people, all this excitement. She peed all over the bed. Mm-hmm. That was the first thing she did. Poor little Freckles. And of course, she stayed with the family for many years after that, even after Dave left home and went out on his own and got his job and moved out and all that. We still had the puppy, but I think she was about, I want to say she was pretty close to maybe 10 years old, and she started having some health issues, some arthritis. She was getting blind. And my dad had a very good friend who he used to go hunting with, who owned a farm out in the country. And so what we did was, I'm trying to remember his name, but I guess it's not important. Anyway, her final years of living, she went out to the farm with my dad's friend, where she could roam around. It was safe. It was safe out there. They had lots of land, and so they took care of her in her final years. But that's the story of Freckles.
But not on your face. You have Mom, you have a future in show titling.
I have a what?
A future in show titling.
Oh. Freckles, but not on your face.
I think probably most of us here are listening to the story and going, "There's Freckles coming into the story at some point." It's Freckles. Like, wait, I was thinking, wait, he dove in to save her, and his shorts came off, and there were freckles on his butt. Right?
I thought about that. I thought these people are going to wonder where are these Freckles?
No, but this is a nice.
I thought about that.
Nice, heartwarming story, and for me personally, I love learning just even the incidental details that you're sharing are revelatory for me. Like, your father was a hunter who had 2 hunting beagles specialized for hunting in the backyard. I'm like, I know that backyard and I know that region, and I only met your father a couple times, but
I know.
I'm so grateful to have this time to learn my history and have a few other people learning my history, your history.
Well, Dad had the beagles he had was the adult male was Rocky, and then Rocky had sired some other puppies, and Dad got one of Rocky's male puppies. So he had Rocky and Tramp. They named him Tramp, but they were hunting dogs, and with hunting dogs, when you use them for hunting, you don't want them to be raised within the family environment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, specialized, like dogs that are bred for specific things. They have to have a certain routine and habits. Yeah.
Right. So Dad fixed an area in our fenced area in our backyard where they had the dog house. They came in the house from time to time. It's just that they did not live within the family environment 24/7. You don't do that with a hunting dog.
I have an acquaintance who trained a police dog, a German Shepherd.
Oh, wow.
And this guy's father owned a men's club or a cigar club kind of thing.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And I would go and have meetings over at that location. And I remember him bringing the dog one time, and he had the dog on a very short leash right next to him. Like he had it basically by the collar at all times, and was made sure to let everybody know, don't pet, don't approach, don't pet. This is a dog that attacks people. It's trained to go after people on command. It's not a house pet. It's a very beautiful animal, but trained for very specific tasks. So
and Dad took such good care of his dogs too. I mean, they got the best treatment of all. They had a palace for a doghouse and all that sort of thing.
Nice.
Anyway, that's my story. Dave is truly a hero. He is a hero.
Hero Dave.
And the world needs to know.
I have so many questions, but time is up. We're going to cut out here.
Okay.
Right
gotta
now.
Go.
Thank you, Mom.
Well, love you guys. Have a good day.
Happy
Thanksgiving, everybody.
I will be doing Bible every morning tomorrow, so we'll still be there. All right. Love you.
We'll see you then.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody. Logging out.